That's the MO of this government. The idea that they can suppress and hold on to information and conceal the cost of the carbon tax from Canadians. So this document dump that we had right before this motion began to be debated in this House revealed that, yes, the carbon tax is a significant drain on GDP. The carbon tax makes Canadians poorer. We are in a moment where Canada has the lowest GDP growth per capita in the G7. And it's not growth at all, Madam Speaker. It's negative growth. It's shrinking. The per capita GDP in Canada is shrinking. Canadians are getting poorer. This isn't an opinion of mine. This is a fact. This is per capita GDP. The wealth of this country divided by its people is shrinking. That is Canada in 2024, and we need to get off of that track, Madam Speaker. And the carbon tax is not helping it. It is a drain on GDP. This is a crisis of our economy, wherein the OECD predicts in the decades to come that Canada will be at the bottom of its peer countries. And the carbon tax contributes to this. The carbon tax harms the economy and makes Canadians poorer. We know it. The PBO has said this. The data that they have released supports the PBO's conclusions. The PBO was clear that this data would support his conclusions when he was at the testifying before the Finance Committee a couple of weeks ago. So, Madam Speaker, there are enormous problems facing this country, some of which have been raised by members of all sides in this debate so far today. Housing, we have a housing crisis. We have a crisis in the Canadian Armed Forces of recruitment and retention and non-availability of equipment and munitions. All of these things are going to require a strong economy. We need a growing economy where people are getting wealthier, not poorer, where people will be able to afford to buy a decent home in a safe neighborhood, where we will have the financial and economic capacity to fund a healthcare system that people depend on. We need a strong economy to be able to fund the desperately needed upgrades and enhancements to our national defense and our armed forces. All of these things are threatened by this government's lack of care for the state of our economy. They are insisting that the carbon tax system that they have created is somehow good for Canadians, even though it is suppressing GDP and making Canadians poorer. And they will, they are determined to stick to this, despite the officers of Parliament who have told the officer of Parliament who has told us otherwise.